Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. And have you ever thought to yourself, if only I would have had one more turn, I could have won the game? Well, why stop there? Take all the turns with 5 infinite turn combos. You won't believe our budget. Combo 1, Yore-Tiller Ageless Mentor. For this combo, we're going to need Yore-Tiller Nephilim on the battlefield. Yore-Tiller Nephilim is a 2/2 and states that whenever Yore-Tiller Nephilim attacks, return target creature card from your graveyard to play, tapped and attacking. We're also going to need Metamai the Ageless. Metamai the Ageless is a 4/4 flyer, and whenever Metamai the Ageless deals combat damage to a player, take an extra turn after this one. Now, Metamai the Ageless can't attack during extra turns. Then we're going to need Deep Channel Mentor. Deep Channel Mentor is a 2/2 and has blue creatures you control are unblockable. Lastly, we're going to need Viscera Seer. Viscera Seer is a 1/1 and allows us to sacrifice a creature to scry 1. To make the combo go off, we're going to need all the cards on the battlefield. Then we're going to sacrifice Metamai the Ageless to our Viscera Seer and scry 1. Metamai the Ageless goes to our graveyard. Next, we're going to go to our combat phase, and then we're going to attack with our Yore-Tiller Nephilim. His ability triggers, and we put Metamai the Ageless onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. As we have Deep Channel Mentor, neither Yore-Tiller nor Metamai can be blocked because they're both blue creatures, and so deal combat damage to our opponent. Now Metamai's ability triggers, and we get an additional turn after this one. We pass a turn and receive our extra turn. During this extra turn, we're going to do exactly the same as we did in our previous turn. We sacrifice Metamai to our Viscera Seer and scry 1. Then we attack with our Yore-Tiller and put our Metamai onto the battlefield, once again tapped and attacking. Remember that Yore-Tiller's ability circumvents Metamai's inability to attack during extra turns, and as such, Metamai once again deals combat damage, giving us an extra turn after this one. Repeat this process and you will have an extra turn after every turn. Combo 2, Hushwing Manta Closet. For this combo, we're going to need Hushwing Griff. Hushwing Griff is a 2/1 flash flyer that has the ability that creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. We're also going to need Wurmfang Manta. Wurmfang Manta is a 6/1 flyer that has, when this guy enters play, you skip your next turn, and when this guy leaves play, you take an extra turn after this one. And finally, we're going to need Conjurer's Closet. Conjurer's Closet allows us that at the beginning of our next end step to exile target creature we control and then return it to the battlefield under our control. So, to make the combo go off, we're going to need Hushwing Griff and Conjurer's Closet on the battlefield. Then we're going to cast Wurmfang Manta. Now, normally as it enters the battlefield, we would have to skip our next turn. However, because we have Hushwing Griff on the battlefield, that part of Wurmfang Manta's ability does not trigger. Then we go to our end step, and using Conjurer's Closet, we exile Wurmfang Manta and return it to the battlefield. As Wurmfang Manta leaves the battlefield, we get an extra turn after this one, and when it enters, its first ability once again does not trigger. Now, we can pass our turn and start our next extra turn. Here we'll repeat the process and gain an extra turn after every turn. Combo 3, Final Arcanist of the Infinite. For this combo, we're going to need Final Fortune. Final Fortune is a 2-mana instant that allows us to take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, though, we do lose the game. We're also going to need Elite Arcanist. Now, Elite Arcanist is a 1/1 human wizard that when he enters the battlefield, we may exile an instant card from our hand. Then later, we may pay X and tap it to copy that exiled card. We may cast the copy without paying the mana cost, where X is the converted mana cost of that exiled card. And finally, we're going to need Sundial of the Infinite. For a generic mana and tapping it, we get to end the turn. So everything that says at the end of the turn or this turn or we don't have to also discard down to our maximum hand size, all that stuff stops and we pass the turn. So to make the combo go off, we're going to need Sundial of the Infinite on the battlefield. Next, we're going to cast Elite Arcanist and exile Final Fortune from our hand. Then we pass the turn. In our next turn, we're going to pay 2 generic mana and tap Elite Arcanist to copy Final Fortune. This means we're going to take an extra turn but lose the game at the beginning of that turn's end step. This is where the Sundial of the Infinite comes in. When we're done with everything we want to do in our second main phase, we pay 1 generic mana and tap the Sundial, ending the turn, but skipping the end step of our turn. Now we can start our extra turn, repeating this process and gaining us an extra turn after every turn. Do remember to activate the sundial of the infinite every turn before your end step, or you will lose the game. Combo 4, Second Silent Champion. For this combo, we're going to need Second Chance. Second Chance is an enchantment that states, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 5 or less life, sacrifice Second Chance and take an extra turn after this one. We're also going to need Silent Sentinel. Silent Sentinel is a 4/6 flyer, and whenever this guy attacks, you may return target enchantment card from the graveyard to the battlefield. Lastly, we're going to need Ethereal Champion. Ethereal Champion allows us to pay 1 life to prevent the next 1 damage to Ethereal Champion. To make the combo go off, we're going to start with all the cards on the battlefield. Next, we're going to pass the turn. In the end of our opponent's end step, we're going to pay X life into Ethereal Champion, where X is our life total minus 5. So if we had 20 life, we're going to pay 15 life. This means that at the beginning of our upkeep, we have 5 life, and so can sacrifice Second Chance and take an extra turn after this one. Second Chance goes into our graveyard. During our combat phase, we're going to attack with Silent Sentinel and return Second Chance from our graveyard to the battlefield. Now, we are clear to pass the turn and start our extra turn. At the beginning of our upkeep of our extra turn, we still have 5 life, and so we get to sacrifice Second Chance to get an extra turn after this one. We are now free to attack with Silent Sentinel and repeat this process and gain us an extra turn after every turn. Combo 5, Wanderwine School Mentor. For this combo, we're going to need Wanderwine Prophets. Wanderwine Prophets is a 4/4 Merfolk Wizard, and it has Champion a Merfolk, which means when it comes into play, we do have to sacrifice it unless we remove another Merfolk we control from the game. Then when this guy leaves play, we get to return that card to play. More importantly, when this guy deals combat damage to a player, we get to sacrifice a Merfolk, and if we do, we get an extra turn after this one. We're also going to need Summon the School. For 4 mana, it's a sorcery that allows us to put 2 1/1 blue Merfolk Wizard creature tokens into play. We can also tap 4 untapped Merfolk we control to return this card from our graveyard to our hand. And finally, we're going to need Deep Channel Mentor. Once again, it's a 2/2 Merfolk, which makes our blue creatures unblockable. Now, to make the combo go off, we're going to start with Wanderwine Prophets, Deep Channel Mentor, and 1 Merfolk token on the battlefield. Now we're going to play Summon the School and put an additional 2 Merfolk tokens onto the battlefield. After that, we can tap our Deep Channel Mentor and 3 of the Merfolk tokens to return Summon the School from our graveyard to our hand. Now it is time for us to attack with Wanderwine Prophets, and as we control the Deep Channel Mentor, Wanderwine Prophets cannot be blocked and they deal combat damage to our opponent. We also choose to sacrifice one of our Merfolk tokens to gain an extra turn after this one. Now we can pass the turn and start our extra turn. During our extra turn, we once again repeat the entire process, giving us an extra turn after every turn. Well, those are 5 infinite turn combos you won't believe our budget. Remember, all the cards we use are $1 or less, so it's not too expensive to give them a shot. But remember that they're also not a lot of fun to play against, so be wary with that also. Now join us on Facebook and Twitter, and also subscribe to this channel because it allows us to make more of these top 5 lists. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'm David, and this was Budget MTG Decks.